Okay, we have our new Porta Flex safety round pin laid out. We've decided where the center is going to be and driven a setup spike there.
That center can be any place you want it to be.
Right, anywhere. So this is where we've decided. Then we pull it out to the knot and drive that first stake. And
Now, the knot is in that line there.
Yes, and that'll be one side of the gate. And so you put it on there and then stretch it out to the knot again. And that'll be your second stake. We've already driven this stake, so we were just showing you how to do it. But then you just go back and get that line, take it off of that gate stake and put it onto the setup spike here, and then you just work right on around. It's so that every stake will be the same distance from the center and the same distance apart, except for the gate stake. So that's how you measure it. We've laid the corrals out so that the tops of them are pointing towards the center and the feet are pointing towards the outside. So then we just unroll it, and
now here we have three sections because this pin is how large?
This is going to be a 30-foot diameter pin. So there's three 30-foot sections. And now we just pull it out, and as you're walking around, stay inside of the stake that you've just driven, so that you'll be able to hook it all together and then hook it onto those stakes.
I've noticed that all of the lines are laying inside here, and that's probably the way you made it when you packed it up before.
Right, that's right. So the lines are all inside. Now we hook the top and the bottom gate ropes on. Now this gate is just a 7-foot gate post. We make them in 8 foot if it's going to be set up on a more permanent basis. Now we unroll this third panel and stretch it right out. Now we're going to hook these two panels together. There's one post in the panel that's removable, so we lay that right down there beside it. Now we'll pull that post out of the other panel and then put it back in and pick up the little loops that are right there on the opposing panel. There's 3 loops. We put the top one in, slide it down, get to the middle one, and then go right on to the bottom. There's 3 loops on every post on the end of every panel. So you just have to work it in there to where they go down and pick up all 3 loops. All right, now we take the snap off and hook it right into the eye bolt. So that puts your rope around. The rope goes all the way around it. Now there we're lengthening out the loops, and now we're going to hook the other piece together so we have a complete circle. We'll just do the same thing. It's a repeat of the other one where you pull out the connector post and picked up those loops, and now it's all hooked together. So now we go back to the gate and start out and hook there's a loop in the end of every rope that goes right onto the setup spike. And then I usually just put my foot on it and slide it back just to keep it a little neater. But just go right there to that setup spike again, and move right on. Then you'll go right on to the next stake, the next post, and just pick up on the bottom of it and pull it out there a little bit and hook it on that spike. Now we have all of the ropes hooked up all the way around. We kind of go back to the gate and even it up, pull that to you just a little bit, look at it. It'll be different every time you set it up. So you just try to get it in the middle, and then you can just stand it up. And as it's going up, you pull that bottom in towards the center so that the guy rope is tight on the outside, and it'll stand there by itself. You don't have to hold it. It's a one-man operation to set up a Porta Flex round pin.
Steve, I've watched you do this a number of times. I'm producer Chuck, and I've seen you do this, and you make it look easy. You've been doing it for 17 years, but I promise the people out there, once they've done this a couple of times, they'll make it look that easy too.
It is that easy. And lots of people have learned to do it, so it's not anything new. Now here we have set up next to a fence, so these last two guy ropes are tied right onto the fence. But when you're measuring that out, and be sure now or at this point to tie your knot below where the adjustable rope comes out of the inside rope, so that you'll still be able to adjust it and pull. There, you can see right there that we pulled it up, and because we tied that rope on below where it adjusts. Now you'll see here that I put it across my knee, and pull it up so it's snug, and then put it across your knee so you got slack below the splice, and then run your hand all the way up the splice, and that'll cause it to hold. That's a hollow braid rope. You just slide one rope through the other one, and it will hold. Now we're going to put in the permanent stakes, so you step behind the stake and look through the post, from the stake through the post to the center, and then lay the bottom of it down right where that permanent stake is going to go. Now, if the rope was longer than that, you'd want to move the stake back a little bit, but that one is just about right, so you drive the stake right beside the setup spike. But if that rope happened to be a lot longer, well, you'd want to give another 8 inches or 10 inches or a foot, whatever, so you got plenty of room there. I like to drive these stakes right on down flush with the ground, because you might have a horse around on the outside of it. You don't want them to step on it. So I drive it right on down in to where it's below the surface a little bit.
Herd of wild horses wouldn't be able to knock over the Porta Flex round pen.
That's right. Then you take it off of the setup spike, and now you get the top rope and put it on and adjust it.
Now this is the first top rope that you've actually attached, is that correct?
That's right. Because you don't put the top ropes on until you put in the stakes that are going to stay there. The first nails are just setup spikes. Then I pull that setup spike out and put it back in the stake bag. We have different sizes stakes for different hardness of ground. There's 18 inch is what normally comes, or you can have a smaller hard round stake. Now we'll get the gate, unroll it, and just put the hinge in on first.
Well, we're just about there.
We're just about there, yeah.
And this whole thing has taken probably, I would think, I shot this less than 30 minutes.
Yep. For a 30-foot pin in ground where the ground isn't too hard to drive the stakes, you can set it up in 25 or 30 minutes. I tell people it's less than an hour. And almost anybody can set up a pin in less than an hour. Now to close that gate, you just hold it behind your thumb and your fingers, and then pull down on that rope, and it makes it easy to get that top loop on, and then fasten the buckle. That's a seatbelt buckle there at the gate. So there is your Porta Flex safety round pin, all finished. The gate's closed up, and we're ready for a horse.